Hello, welcome back to my Dofus quest to 200. We had a great first episode, got some good feedback from some friends who watched it, and gonna make some improvements hopefully in this episode and every episode coming afterwards. Last episode we started the match. I introduced you to myself, my team, the plan for the channel, and we knocked out just a few quests. In fact, there are a total of 23 quests here in Incarnam. We've knocked out 2 of them in our first episode, so that means we got 21 to go. The good thing is this one's going to have a lot more fighting involved. You'll get to see some professions in action, some crafting, hopefully a lot of really fun things as we begin to move our team further up into levels, get some new spells, better gear, all kinds of good stuff. Let's get started, and we're going to pick up with that first quest we picked up called Village in the Clouds. This was the very first one where we talked with Ternetti, and she said to go talk to these different people. We're going to go ahead and finish off this quest line. So, step out of here. Alright, so we need to go to 04. Okay, we already talked to him. Now we're going to go to 1-3. If you hover over here on your map, you'll see, let's see if I can find one without anything on it. Okay, see how it's got that 1, -1? That's going to be your coordinates. I don't know, this might be easier to see up here on the big map. So this square is considered 2, -2. If you see there to the bottom right of that square, you'll see the numbers. That's going to be the coordinates where you're at. So when you have a quest that tells you to go to a certain coordinate, those are what you want to look at to figure out where to go and how to get to where you're at. And if you look on your map, in the top left corner, you can see we're sitting at 0, -4. The level 5 means that this particular area, the Incarnam Fields, is kind of set for level 5 characters. The enemies and things in this area are designed for level 5. Doesn't mean you can't fight these at level 1 or at level 200. It just means that their XP, their drops, their gear, all that stuff's kind of based for this level. But what we need to do is go to 1, -3. So you can bring this up, and you can see that those numbers at 0, -3, here's 0, -4. We need 1. Let's go to the right. That's 1, -4. And then we're going to go down 1. And now we're at 1, -3. Alright, so we're going to zip over there for the next person we're supposed to talk to, which I believe is supposed to be Holly. Maybe she's a hologram. Anybody who's watched The Office will appreciate that reference. Alright, let's see here. Holly Brock. Offering quality items at the right price. That's the secret of an honest trader. Well, let us introduce ourselves. Ah, future customer. Sooner or later, all adventurers want to use the services of an artisan to produce their equipment or hone their own skills in various professions. Either way, they quickly realize that top quality materials are essential for the best gear. How do we get a hold of this gear? Well, you can go out and harvest them yourself, or hunting wild animals to find them. But for those whose time is too precious, there's always the marketplace. If I were you, I wouldn't be afraid to go and look at the transaction board if you need to. Okay, that's all she had to say. Now the marketplace, these have changed quite a bit. I think there's 6 marketplaces now, or 3 marketplaces. There used to be like 15. It was wild the way it was all divided up. But basically, you have a resource market, which is this one here. There's also an equipment market, and then there's a consumables market. And then there's a couple odd ones like for mounts and stuff. I think that one's called the creature market. But this resource market, if you click on this, this tells you, this over here on the left hand side will show you the items that you can buy, different categories, because every item is used for crafting something. All these drops you get from the enemies can be used to craft something. You know, you can right click on any of these and click recipes, and it'll show you all the things that can be crafted with that particular item. These over here, the ones that we just dropped, we can click. I clicked the wrong thing, I'm sorry. Click recipes, And here's some things that we can craft with these items that we're dropping. If you see an X on it, it means that you don't have that item. Let's see, we've got this. You need 3 of these, 2 of those. And I believe some of the quests that we'll go through will actually have us crafting some of these items. So you'll get to see these things go, how that all works. But that's what the marketplace is in a quick rundown. If you want to sell something, you can just click here on selling mode. Over here is going to list all the items you currently have for sale, which is 0. And we can have up to 12 items in the market at the moment. Each time you go up a level, the amount of items you can put in the market also goes up. That's kind of nice. You can click on an item, like this feather right here, and as you can see, these are ones that are already in the market. There's of just 1, or a lot of 10, or a lot of 100. It says the average price is $9.50, which is probably why this is up here. But as you can see, these prices are quite a bit lower than that. So if I wanted to put this for sale, I just click that item. It's only going to have a lot of 1 because I've only got 1 of it. But I can then set my price to anything I want. I could set it to 1,000 commas if I want. But the problem is, it's only going to list the lowest priced item first. So if I wanted my item to be listed first, I could put 197. It's going to cost me 12 commas to list it. And when I put it for sale, now I have the lowest item in the list. Someone might end up buying it, and I'll make some money off of it. This money gets deposited into your bank, which you'll get to see that once we go down into Astrib. It may not show up in this video. So that's a quick rundown on how the market goes if you want to list some things for sale. I do recommend, though, don't bother... I'm going to actually take this one out. Don't bother listing things for sale while you're in Incarnam, because these quests are going to require the loot that we're going to be dropping from these. In fact, if I need to speed it up, I might even just go to the market and buy some of those. But we'll see how that goes. Alright, so we talked to Holly. Now we need to go back and talk to Ternetti. Here we go. Running back over here. You'll be surprised running around here how quickly you'll begin to remember exactly where some of these things are. Okay, Ternetti. Yeah, we know it's a lovely day. We've met the villagers. A friendly lot, aren't they? If you're interested in professions, you'll also need to speak with the many master artisans here at their respective workshops. But that's probably not your primary concern. You seek the Dofus, right? Well, yeah. How cool would it be if she could just hand us the Dofus right there? Of course, kind of ruin the game, but... There's one person you have to meet. Her name is Becca. She can teach you a lot about the history of dragons and their magical eggs. You'll find her at the library. This is the library. Ah, looks fancy. Go in and say hello. Becca, the wise. Knowledge of the past is a precious guide for those who walk the uncertain paths of the future. The history is not just a trove of information, it shapes our present. Hello, Sir Tanks-a-Lot. Let me guess, you hope to seek out the Dofus and you want to learn more about them. Well, yeah. I don't deserve special praise. Many adventurers have already passed by here, and there will be many more. But there's something different about you. Maybe you'll be the one to finally reunite the 6 Dofuses. I am no Norari. I have no idea what the future holds for you. What do you know about the Primordial Dofus? Provide the names of the 6 magic eggs and the dragons that laid them. Boom! Look at that knowledge, just leveled us. Starts to smile. I see that Benjamight has already taught you some basics. That's actually the guy that kind of walks you through the tutorial in the beginning. That's the part that I skipped. So you'll meet him when you go through that. The history of the Dofus is a colorful and remarkable one. The protectors of harmony in the world of 12 were reunited and safeguarded before being stolen. Well, apparently not safeguarded very well. Then found again and separated once more. Have you heard of the legend of Reiki Iriel? No. I have recounted his story in one of the library's books. I strongly recommend reading it. Okay, now I happen to know that out of all these books, you're supposed to click on this. Becca the Wise. Young ladies and gentlemen who pay me the honor of reading these lines, I would like to propose an interlude whereby I tell you an old legend. For those of you who can read between the lines, it should tell you a lot about the history of the world. Once upon a time, a dragon named Balgrot arrived in Ankama, the Eternal. The young Riki Errol, a fearless Iop, was the only one courageous enough to face the creature. Instead of reducing it to dust, and dust is an understatement, as he could easily have done, the dragon bowed down before the young knight and swore loyalty to him. Months went by. The two friends strolled across the field, frolicked through the land of Incarnam, making jokes, drank ice-cold beer in the sunshine. It was a curious sight to most people's eyes. After all, dragons and knights would usually be seen fighting to the death over a young lady. And, to be more precise, the knight would like his lady pure, and the dragon would like her charbroiled. As is often the case in myths and tales, Riki was not only young, but was also very handsome. Legend knows not whether he was rich or poor, but we can probably assume he was anything but a lowly beggar. Anyway, one day he met Hellespine, a sorceress, who also happened to be young and beautiful, and he fell madly in love with her. Yet they didn't live happily ever after. Is there any justice in this world? Read on. Riki was very happy to be able to introduce his lady love to his friend Balgrot. There was no way he could have guessed what was going to happen. The dragon, mad with jealous rage, killed sweet Hellespine and flew away, destroying everything in his path. Riki set off after the dragon. When he found him, the old friends confronted one another in a titanic fight. Riki's magic and the weapons succeeded in bringing Balgrot down, but the young hero was fatally injured in the battle and died shortly afterwards. That's when the story took a rather odd twist. Looking for an explanation for Balgrot's rage, Amkamna's wise men discovered 6 strangely colored eggs within the beast's entrails. They were genuine dragon eggs. The wise men had a feeling that these eggs would provide their bearer with a power that would make them the gods' equal. They took the decision to hide these terrible relics from the eyes of the world. Say that we've finished reading. Balgrot's gruesome fate shows that claiming the Dofus for herself can lead to a descent into madness and even death. Finding the Primordial Dofus is not a quest to be taken lightly. You should speak to some of the other souls who have dreamt of possessing the 6 Dofus. You could learn a lot from their experiences. Find an old hand, a stay-at-home cat, and an unlucky thief. You may have to stray from the village to find them, but Incarnam is not a big place. I'm sure you'll find them. Okay, and if I remember, if we click on our map here, you'll see that one's there. There's the stay-at-home feline. Here's the old hand. That's probably Lycan the survivor. And then an unlucky thief down here. So the quests are marked right on the paper, make it nice and easy for us. Alright, let's head down first. This one, it feels closest. Maybe it is, maybe they're all about the same way. Let's go talk to this guy. I believe this was the unlucky thief down here. I know how unlucky he was. Oh, well, yep, that looks pretty unlucky. He looks like, oh, and his lamp doesn't even work right. Here's one of those nettle things. We'll click on that and pick that up. I know we're going to need that. Oh, and here's one over here. That little red number you see pop up after you've clicked on it, that little 2 right there, we got 2 of those. And over here we had a 6, so we just picked up 8 of those things. Alright, bring the rest of the team down here. And let's see what Oscar Cass has to say here. It will take as long as it takes, but ultimately I will reincarnate. All these days of wandering will just be a distant memory. Ask him what happened. Well, I gave up the ghost, as you might say. I fell into a trap and my body was reduced to ashes. I was hoping that the power of the Phoenix could resurrect me, but it must be too early for me, or too late. So I just haunt various places and patiently bide my time. Well, as I was literally a skeleton in everyone's closet, over the years I stole anything that could be stolen. precious stones, family jewels, masterpieces, priceless relics. My last great heist was one of the Dofus. Oh. If everything had gone to plan, I would be the new guardian of the Emerald Dofus by now. A powerful magician assured me I would succeed. I must have made an error of judgment at some point, but death won't stop me. What's that smell? Is that burning smell coming from you? By the great snake, it's back. It won't give me a moment's peace. Time I vanish, flee, or it'll go for you too. Stay and fight the evil fire. Well, yeah, we ain't running away from nothing. Look at that! Bring it on! Alright. Should be a fairly easy fight. In fact, I'll throw my turret out here. My harpoon, actually. Drop the bomb on him. Let's go hide. Nice thing is, too, summons can be nice distractions. So, you know, he went over there, and he'll sit there and beat up on that thing while I get to stay nice and safe over here. Harpoon should finish it off. Alright. Is that it? Do we need to talk to him again? I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and ask him about this Phoenix thing. Well, if you pass away and your vital energy is reduced to nothing, you end up in the cemetery in spirit form. Your soul is then attracted to the nearest Phoenix. The power of the Firebird statue will allow you to reincarnate if your destination is not yet fulfilled. That's what this thing here is a Phoenix bird. You'll find these from time to time. On your health, you have this energy bar, which is this right here, and I don't think this changes at all. That says 10,000 out of 10,000, and I don't think it matters what level you are. I'm pretty sure that stays 10,000. But anytime you die, you'll lose a chunk of this energy. And if you die and die and die and die, eventually if this gets all the way to 0, you become a little floating ghost, and you have to float to one of the maps that has this Phoenix on it, and then it'll bring you back with just a tiny bit of health back. The energy, honestly, I've played for 15 plus years, and I think I've ran out once or twice that whole time. You can die a few times before this will go anywhere. Where this would play a bigger role is if you do a lot of PvP and you're losing a lot of battles, this would go down fairly quickly. So what people typically do if they're going to be in a lot of battles, you can have breads and candies. We don't have any right now, but you can get breads and candies that you can eat that will fill this up. As a craftsman, you can even make, let's see, let's check our professions here. Farmer. These things all... Okay, well, unfortunately we're not a high enough level to actually look at it yet, but you can craft bread, you can craft meats and things like that that you can eat that will refill that energy. So you never have to die. This basically only happens if you just completely neglect, like you just died back to back a whole bunch, and then you haven't filled this up, because it refills by itself over time. Anytime you log off, it slowly refills. I believe if you log off inside of a city or inside of a house, it refills at twice the speed, but it's still a very slow recharge. It takes a while to come back. So I think that's it we got to do here. Now we can go talk to the next person. Lead us up this way. Oh, here's a nettle. Oh, and this is an ash tree. We'll get somebody to cut this down. I know that our professions later are going, or our quests later are going to require us to have like ash trees and nettles and wood and all this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to pick some of this stuff up now to hopefully save us a little bit of time on the flip side of this. So we'll head on across here with our team. We need to go up one more. Yep, need to go up one more here. Are these the glutes? No. I know the captain had sent us to go fight glutes, but I don't think I've been paying attention yet to figure out where the glutes are. Oop. Okay, let's head in here. Go talk to our stay-at-home feline, I think is what it said. Lady with the dice over here. See what she has to say. Sound of a violin, the taste of me milk, scent of varnished wood, that's what gives this place its charm. I feel at home here. Spent some of the time in the world of 12, but I ended up back here. A life adventure was not for me. I prefer playing cards while listening to El Tonjon. That must be El Tonjon playing right there. Let me guess, you want to know where to find them, right? Well, they're in that cabinet over there. Haha, no, that's just me. Be funny though, right? Well, there was a time when I went in search of those famous dragon eggs. I found out that the Dofus were in the hands of fearsome creatures. Dark Volad, the Minotauro, the Soft Oak. I confess I'm not very brave. I couldn't see myself exploring dungeons that would make an IOP shake with fear. So I set my sights a lot lower. I threw the dice to find out which way to go, and here I am in Incarnam. What, you've never just trusted in chance? Oh, I do it all the time. Here, let's give it a go. Take the dice. Come on, don't worry. There's nothing to be scared of. My dice are not cursed or poisoned. We roll them. 6 and 3, which makes 9. According to the legend, that's the number of lives Ecaflip's children have. That's a good sign for an adventurer. You'll be able to take risks, and you have a good chance of finding what you seek. Say goodbye. The last person we needed to talk to, I believe they said talk to an old hand. Is that what it said? Which we all know, liking the survivors over here. He definitely looks nice and old. Look at all these new pups. Look how much more experienced we are than them already. We're sitting at level 7. These guys are coming in here level 1. They haven't even put their hat on. Come on, you got a free hat. Put your free hat on. Okay, Mr. Survivor, what you got for us? I love gazing at the clouds in the sky. Isn't it very relaxing? After many years seeking adventure, I decided to retire from that life. I've lived life to its fullest. I've plucked peewees, hobbled gobbles, felled treknids, and reduced crack rocks to dust. I've lived among the goblins and borks without succumbing to their irredeemable idiocy. I've defeated Lord Crow, fought against Peaky Peaky, and bashed Giant Kralov with a shovel. That's one thing I have never done. I've crossed the Azzy Sea and the Antinua Sea. I've lost myself in the labyrinth of the Minotaur. I've succumbed to but survived Maloria, Mixcheth, and my oxymosis. Why do they gotta make such wild names? And I'm probably not even pronouncing them right. But how could you? My oxymosis? I've sold water to make a living and gone from market to market to make riches. I've gone undercover as a troll to live up Dijoline debates. Basically, I've been very busy. I think I deserve a little breather. Ask him about the 6 Dofus. Who do you take me for? An innocent little flower who has never gazed upon the glossy shell of a real dragon egg? I'll have you know I was this close to proudly displaying the 6 Dofus on my mantelpiece. Can you believe that? Find out what didn't work, as expected. Well, I found out that possessing the Primordial Dofus would trigger the apocalypse. And as I've become rather fond of the world of 12, I didn't want to be responsible for its end. Reply that might call your quest into question. Say that you don't believe a word he said. We don't believe you. What? You dare to doubt my word? Watches you with a fierce frown. I'm going to return his... Ooh, call him an old fool. What did you do to me? I just turned into something? Really? You're nothing but a young maggot, and nothing could be easier than squishing you under my heel. You want me to prove it? Wiggle around, little worm. He turned me into a... You can't see me because I'm back behind there. He turned me into a little worm. Grovel and move away. Ah! I didn't know he could do that. Can I fight anything? See, up here it shows me, it says, changed appearance. Remains for 1 fight. Now let's fight something. Can I fight something? Okay, I'm my normal self. I'll just do this by myself. I won't bring the whole team in here for this. Like a harpooner might be able to do it all himself. Let's sit back and watch. Show liking the survivor, he ain't got nothing on me. That's right. Talk to him again. Oh, he's gazing at the clouds. He's nice and relaxed. Yeah, you're telling us a story. Ask about the Dofus. Find out what to expect. Should we tell him we don't believe him? Should we see if he'll turn us into another worm? I think we should see. Should we call him an old fool again? Heck yeah! Oh, I did it again! Ah! Liking. You don't liking me. Ah! That's funny. I didn't know that he could do that. That's hilarious. Okay, we'll be nice to you this time. Yeah, you must be enjoying retirement. Turn all us noobs into worms. Okay, don't tell me you're thinking about seeking the Dofus. Are you mad? You want to be one to bring about the destruction of the cosmos? Crikey, think about what you're saying. Move away to think for a while. Still didn't get the right answer here. Okay, 6 Dofus. What to expect? Say that we don't believe him, but I think... I don't want to apologize. Let's return to stare. Narrow his eyes before bursting into laughter. Ha 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 ha! You're not easily fooled. Are you kidding? You already turned me into a worm twice. The whole end of the world thing is just a tale to frighten off the naive ones. I'm pleased to see that you're not so easily dissuaded. Good, but let me tell you one thing. The quest for the Dofus is the most wonderful adventure out there. The thrill is not in finding the dragon eggs, it's in searching for them. Spending days and nights trying to get my hands on the Dofus allowed me to meet fantastical creatures, to discover exotic lands, and to befriend valiant brother-in-arms. That is worth more than the treasure. I agree that that's a good point. Good luck, Sir Tanks-a-Lot. When you have found the 6 Dofus, come back to me and see me. We'll share a drink at Fat Tummy's Inn. The lemonade and me milk will flow freely. That's fun. You know, I have created dozens and dozens of characters, and I've talked to this guy a few times, but I never knew he could turn me into a worm. That was a fun little surprise. Alright, now that we have finished talking to Lycan the Survivor, now we go back to talk to, what was her name? Becca. I think it was Becca, which is weird, because I didn't think she was a Fecca. Becca is another one of the classes that you can be, but I would have thought that with a name like that, of course, it's possible. I'm just pronouncing it wrong. That's very possible. Alright. Let's go talk to Fecca. I guess she could be a Fecca. Yeah, maybe she is. Yeah, that looks kind of like that class. Alright. What she says here. As you may have noticed, some are not easily discouraged, while others hesitate at the slightest difficulty. And then there are those for whom to search for the Dofus is merely an excuse to push themselves to the limit. Boom! Level 8! Heroes' travels often lead them to far off and exotic places, some of which are highly dangerous and impossible to come out of unscathed. Have you ever heard of Hargnok? His story is known throughout Incarnam. It is said that he acquired several dragon eggs, but despite all that power, he came up against more powerful forces than himself. Hargnok was devoured by the fearsome Snoo Wolf, a beast with needle-sharp teeth that lives in the depths of Incarnam. No one knows what became of Hargnok's Dofus. Maybe they are still in the beast's lair. We will have to check that out. The monster is said to dwell in the ancient tomb. Corpse Sort, the gravedigger, could probably tell you more. You'll find him in the cemetery, but be careful. The creatures that lurk among the graves are not the friendliest. If you want to know more about Hargnok's story, there's probably an old manuscript somewhere in the library. I'm sure it will satisfy the curiosity. I don't know, is there something in here? Oh, you can click on this purple book.